Hello, everyone. My name is Damari Freeman. I'm a part of Group 11, and this is our presentation for Project 1. So as for introductions, we have Ahmed as the project leader and main coder, Zainab as another coder, Kevin as a tester, me as a user, and Amani as a designer. So the problem statement. For new drivers, it could be difficult to practice parking on the road. They might be scared practicing on the road, parking in a parking lot even, or they just don't have access to a car. So to help them, we made this website to visualize parking. This website does that by simulating cars in a parking lot driving and also parking. And it does this via CSS animations. For this project, we also use the Kanban methodology, and it's represented through a visual workflow in the code, which with the cars as tasks. This allows for the entire team to visualize all stages. For this project, the stages can be viewed through the positions of the cars. It shows the work in progress or WIP limits and a pull system. And while we don't have functionality to set WIP limits because this project needs to be done without HTML, with only HTML and CSS and no JavaScript or PHP. The WIP limits here would be how many cars can be in a certain section at one time. For example, there shouldn't be 2 cars, 1 parking lot. That don't really make no type of sense. The code encourages transparency and collaboration while preventing excessive work in the queue, reflecting key Kanban principles. Testing. So there's, as I said before, there's no JavaScript in this project for testing and debugging, so we use the browser extensions to view the elements. If elements do not look right, we use the inspection tools to visually analyze the page and see if it matched our design desires. For example, if the cars would not be on the correct path, we would go back and address that issue. If a div box did not look correct, we would go back and correct that issue as well. Or say a margin is out of place, or it's too big, or it just doesn't look right. We'll go back, try and see what's wrong, fix the issue using the inspection tool. And well, that is all from me. I will now pass it on over to Zainab for the code highlights and code snippets.
Hi, my name is Zainab Sarajo, and today I will be going over the design, code highlights, as well as the demo run and the conclusion. So starting off with the design, we utilize a border to represent the actual area in which the cars cannot pass. So inside that border, we have the parking spots themselves, as well as each car. And each car has a unique number and color to allow the user to easily identify each car and their movements in the actual parking lot. So moving on to the code highlights, some key aspects of our code. In terms of HTML, we utilize the div tag to create boxes to represent the borders, parking spots, as well as the cars that are actually moving around in the parking lot. And in terms of CSS, we utilize keyframes that represent each car's specific animations, such as move up, move right, as well as the parking animations themselves. And in terms of the architecture and design principles that underpin the code, this page is divided into different sections with boxes organized vertically on the left and right sides, at the top and bottom, as well as the middle, which demonstrates a structured layout design, making use of CSS positioning to achieve the desired placement of elements on the page. And this code follows design principles such as consistency in naming, clear structure, and visual appeal using colors and animations. The use of Flexbox and CSS transformation demonstrates a good understanding of modern CSS layouts. And here you can see an actual visual of the code itself. Here we have divs to represent the actual parking spots, the border, as well as the cars themselves. And then on the CSS side of the page, we can see that we utilize clear structure and consistency in naming as well to demonstrate modern CSS layout techniques. And in terms of significant features or algorithms used in this project, this code defines several keyframes and animations that control the movement of the car elements. Each animation specifies a transformation over duration of time, effectively animating the movement of the cars. Keyframes are used to define the starting and ending points for each animation, creating smooth transitions. And in terms of unique coding approaches, we use keyframes and CSS animations to move cars in a unique and innovative approach. Each car has its own animation defining keyframes such as move right, move left, move up, move down, as well as the parking animations. And so this creates a visually appealing and interactive element on the page. In addition to having cars move in the parking lot, we have cars move in the parking lot without bumping into each other. And so here we have a quick demo of the code itself. As you can see, we utilize keyframes to represent each of the cars movements. So we have cars moving up, down, left, right, as well as cars parking and backing out of each parking spot. And as you can see, we also made sure that cars wouldn't bump into each other in the actual run of the code. And some key takeaways from this presentation, we utilizing HTML and CSS. A parking simulation was created to showcase everyday parking lot activities. CSS animations were utilized to plan car routes in order to prevent crashes. We also utilize HTML div tags to represent cars. And so in terms of project achievements, we provided an educational resource to students learn about road safety. We also successfully implemented a page using HTML and CSS to provide a visual representation of day-to-day parking lot activities. And some future plans for this project, we plan to implement a functioning start and end button using JavaScript, as well as incorporate other moving elements into the parking lot, such as pedestrians or animals.